Hey, my beautiful friends. Hope y'all are doing well today. We are doing well. And stuff. I got a couple of things that I want to share with you guys today. Talking about how my day was. Talking about a couple of different stories that I have been wanting to share on this channel. And you all have commented in the different spaces on this channel that you guys want to hear about not only Sapphire's story, but you also want to hear about the story related to the bird story. I am just taking allergy pills for the night because I've been kind of sneezing a little bit on everything, so that's what we have. But there's just some stuff I want to talk to you guys about. Unfortunately, Sapphire will not be featured in today's video because she is not been wanting to be bothered today. It's been one of those days where she's like, Mom, leave me alone. I just want to nap and do my own thing. So she is currently doing her own thing somewhere in the house. So, anyway. But, I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about how today was. So today was actually a pretty chill day. We didn't really do much. It was kind of an at-home day for most of the day. The only time we went out is when we went out to our friends for dinner. But other than that, we were basically at home for today. And I have my little music cube here, and stuff where I can turn it on and it plays music. I love this little cube. I've been carrying it around everywhere. So, yeah. But I have had a pretty good day today. I slept in really late. After last night, after I posted, I think it was after I posted the video, the previous video, I think it was. I think that was yesterday that I filmed it. I then went to bed and I slept for a fairly long time after posting that video. And then today was, like I said, a pretty chill day. We were at home pretty much all day. We didn't really do much. We kind of just hung out around the house, watched videos, cuddled with the cats. I listened to a lot of classical music because I've really been on a classical music kick lately. So I've been listening to a lot of classical music, and watching different scenes on YouTube, like different ASMR scenes, kind of like mountain scenes of water, things like that. I actually currently have one going. Isn't that pretty? I currently have that on the TV, and stuff, and I just have had a pretty chill day today. Not much has happened. I'm kind of just wearing comfy clothes, so I'm wearing this t-shirt that says un, deux, trois, quatre, which is like a French thing. I know it has a little spot on it that I need to like use a tide to go stick on it. The shirt is clean, it's just this one spot, so I need to get that fixed. And then I'm just wearing jammy pants. Some old jammy pants. They have kind of a hole in them already and stuff, but that's okay. It's just for in the house, right? Yeah. Let's start with the bird story. Okay, so that story is not super long. So one day I was in high school, at the time. It was like it must have been around 2010, 2011, or something like that. And I had come home from school, and I was out walking with one of my neighbors, because one of my neighbors, was very close with this one neighbor. Her name was Nancy. And her and I used to go walking her dogs. She had 2 dogs at the time, and she also had a cat, but those 2 dogs, her and I we would go walking with the dogs every afternoon after school, like around like, I want to say it was around like 3 or 4 p.m. We would go to walk the dogs, and I would go with her. It was like my time to, get out of the house and go do stuff before homework, before my parents got home from work, before all of that. And I would go walking with her to around the neighborhood, and we ended up in a space, like, the way our neighborhood was it was kind of like a straight line. There was a main road, which was like the main road in the neighborhood, and it was full of trees. There was like trees pretty much, I feel like, everywhere. And I ended up I ended up hearing what sounded like a really, really, like a baby squeak kind of thing. It was like a tweet, but I was like, what is that? And then I look around, and on the ground, there was this like very, very tiny baby. It must have not even been like, it was very tiny. I mean, it was smaller than the size of my palm. I swear it was smaller than this little guy. Like, probably half its size. It was very tiny. This baby was tiny. I was just being the kind of person I am and everything, and who I was back then. I wanted to help this baby. So, I had done a lot of like reading, and I had figured out that you're not supposed, like, mama birds will technically not go and touch their babies, if they have been handled, if they had been like handled by anything, because the scent changes, right? So I ended up going and getting a towel or something, or some gloves or something, and I ended up also getting a shoebox, I think it was. And I put like a bunch of different little things, created like a little nest for this poor baby. Took the little baby, put it in this little nest. I even ended up taking some little tweezers and trying to hand feed it, and stuff like that, like give it some food, give it some different things. And yeah, that went on for quite a long time, and eventually I put the baby out in a place where like the mama could get to it, and I think after a certain period of time, I think the mama started coming around and feeding it, and it just, like, nature took its course, kind of, and the baby grew, and at one point I went to go check on it and stuff, and it wasn't in the nest anymore, in the little shoebox anymore. I guess it had like gotten big enough and strong enough that it could move on its own. So I hope the baby was doing okay, and it ended up learning how to fly and all of this, and mama came around, and the baby basically was okay as far as I know. So that was the story with the bird, was basically me rescuing a little baby bird and taking care of it for a little while. And that was one of the incidences that I had that was like a positive ending to the story. I had another incident with another baby bird where the poor thing didn't make it. It must have had some sort of issue or something, because it didn't make it. I don't think it made it. It made it several hours, and then it passed away. I was going to have my dad or my parents take me to take this baby to the doctor, or like to the vet or somewhere or something. But it passed away before my parents got home from work. So that was a different incident with a bird. But the bird story that I was telling you guys about, in the previous video, ended up having a positive ending, and the baby was fine as far as I know. So yeah. And then the other thing is, you guys know how I have Sapphire, right? So Sapphire has a long history, because I know that if you've been watching the channel for a while, or if you know anything about the situation in our house, you will know that Sapphire has specific, like, basically specific rooms in the house that she goes to, and two of her favorite places are the bathrooms, besides obviously my bedroom and my sensory space. She really loves the bathrooms, and there is a very good reason for why she loves bathrooms. She is always, from the time we got her, I adopted her in 2015, and from the time I got her and adopted her to now, she has always loved small spaces. Always. She's always preferred to hide in small spaces. I remember when we were living with my mom and my dad, when we were living at my parents' house, her favorite place to go to was my closet. She would go and she'd bury herself in my closet, between all my stuffies and everything. So, that's kind of, Sapphire has always loved small spaces. So this isn't something that you guys see now, and it's just something we choose to do to her. Yes, there are certain things, like we have to separate cats. Certain cats need to be separated at night for safety concerns and for just their own well-being and their own comfort. They need to be separated. But Sapphire is a cat that actually prefers to be in those small spaces. We will leave the doors open throughout the day for her to be able to come out of the rooms and to be able to explore the house and be able to have access to the entire house, right? So we don't limit them in terms of access. We give them all access. But Sapphire will choose to just stay in like one of the bathrooms, or will choose to stay in a closet, or will just choose to just not come out. And that's kind of what's happened today, is she's had one of those days where she was perfectly content in her little space, and she didn't want to come out, even though we had the door open for several hours today, and even though there were several attempts that I made to try to have her, like, come upstairs with me so she could, run around and play, because that is my biggest thing, is I want her to be active. I want her to be able to play and to be able to, sit at the window, because unfortunately one of the bathrooms that we have, which is the one downstairs, doesn't have a window. And so I don't like her to be in there unless she has to, which generally that has to is usually at night. But I don't particularly like making her, like, keeping her in that room. Like, there have been times where I'll, like, bring her upstairs. I'd rather her be up here in my room and choose to stay in the bathroom in my room than for her to choose to stay in the downstairs bathroom, because my bathroom in my bedroom has a window. She can look outside. I can give her access to the outside, like, to sunlight, and to making sure she has that. And stuff. It's the same sort of thing when, like, she hides in the closets. That's one of the things that I sometimes worry about, is that she kind of hides in there and then she kind of stays in there sometimes all day. So that's kind of the whole thing. And she's always been like that. Like I said, when we were living with my parents, she was terrified of people. Like, when I first got her, or adopted her and brought her home, she hid behind the washing machine in the laundry room at my parents' house. And it took almost an hour to coax her out with food and to get her to come out. And I would sit with her. Sometimes it started off with just 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then over time I increased it, and I slowly would I would sit with her longer periods of time. And I would then start opening the door. And she got comfortable with me and stuff. And then as she got more comfortable with me, I then eventually would bring her up to my bedroom, and she would get access to my bedroom. And over time, she did eventually got to a point where she had access to basically the whole house, because at the time she was the only cat. So she had access to the whole house. But even then, she chose to be where I was. So if I was, like, in my room, she chose to be in my room, or she would choose to be. Oftentimes, she really loved to go in the closet and sleep. So there'd be many times where I would find her in the closet, and she would be asleep in the closet. it was just kind of like a safe space. She liked the tight spaces. She liked that. She also liked hiding like under the bed. She'd love to go under the bed. So I would like put like a cat bed under my bed generally, or I'd put some blankets under my bed so she would have a soft space and stuff like that. And stuff. Or when we had guests over, she would be really like, she would be really, really skittish around new people. So like, and stuff. So one of the things that I would do is if she was hiding under the bed, sometimes I would like put like a little dish, a little tray with like her food dish and her water dish underneath of my bed so that she had access to all of that. And of course her litter box was always accessible. She always had access to a litter box. Generally I'd have one upstairs in my bedroom and we'd have one downstairs, and she would have access to all of that. She always had access to fresh water. One of Sapphire's quirks is she actually doesn't like still water. So we would have water bowls for her, but she always would choose to drink from the sink instead of drinking from the water dishes. Of course, now she has water fountains. We don't use water dishes with pretty much any of our cats. They all have kind of their own water fountains and stuff. The only cat that doesn't use a water fountain is Snickers. She's the only one that doesn't use the water fountains. She prefers her water dishes. But the other cats, all the other cats in our house have water fountains. They each have 1 or 2 water fountains and stuff accessible to them. Sapphire has one water fountain up here in my bedroom, and then she has one downstairs that she uses at night, then stuff like that. So she has access to a water fountain. And she also has several litter boxes. She has a litter box up in my bedroom here in the bathroom, and then she has a couple litter boxes downstairs that she uses. One of them is open, one of them is closed downstairs. So she has options for that. She has plenty of toys. My room gets covered in toys generally because she is constantly batting them around, and honestly I'm constantly stepping on them. But Sapphire and I very much bonded, and she is and she was my emotional support animal. She is registered as an emotional support animal. So she's come a long way. Prior to us getting her, we know some background about her. We know some history about her from when she was a kitten. We know that she was definitely abused when she was a kitten. She has several marks on her, like, back of her legs where she has fur she has, like, bald spots on her back legs where, basically she doesn't have any fur. You guys don't really see it in the videos because I don't show her back legs very much, but she has some spots where she doesn't have any fur, and that's been there since the day we adopted her, and stuff like that, and everything. And she used to be so scared of just about any noise. And I worked with her, slowly getting her used to, just the regular noises of the house, like the vacuum cleaners, the noise of music, the noise of, like, everything. So now she's unfazed. She's pretty much unfazed by most noises now. She doesn't really flinch from most noises. She doesn't get scared. She doesn't, like, run and hide from people as much as she used to. Obviously, like, if we go on, like, vacation or on a trip or something, or something like that, she will hide under the bed, but she does come out. Even with our previous trip that we just had, where we went to my mom's, we had a neighbor watch her, and she would come out, she spent a lot of time under the bed, but she would also at times come out from under the bed when our neighbor was around, feeding her. And she's unfazed by the other cats. She does prefer, I think, to be kind of on her own a little bit because she is the oldest of all of our cats. So she does prefer to be on her own. She does prefer to be left alone. But as far as, like, her personality, she is very, very sweet, very loving, very affectionate. She loves to cuddle me, and she will purr, and she's just a overall very affectionate cat. So yeah, she is very, very affectionate. She will cuddle with me. She will climb on top of me and make biscuits on me. She will play with me. One of the things that she used to love to do when she was a kitten was she loved playing with my headphones. I didn't have wireless like wireless headphones at the time. I had the corded ones, right? The regular headphones. And she absolutely loved to like play with those. Or like when I was in college and I was studying like for my French classes or for any of my classes, one of her favorite things to do was my desk would be like near the window, and she would sit on the windowsill and just watch me work. She would like sit with me, or she'd climb up on the actual desk and she would sit with me on the and stuff, like lie down on the desk while I was working on school stuff. Whenever I would have panic attacks, meltdowns, whenever I was struggling, one of the things that she would do, it's like I had never like, she was kind of adopted as like a pet, right? She was adopted with the intention of just being a house pet. She wasn't necessarily, we didn't have her necessarily trained as an emotional support animal. This came later on when we realized that her and I had this special bond, and she had learned how to like pick up on my needs. And so if I was having a hard time because of pain, she would like come and sit exactly in the spot that I was hurting, and she would purr. Or if I was crying or upset about something or having a meltdown, one of the things that she'd always do is she'd always come up to me and she'd start pawing at me. Or the other thing she loves to do is she loves to like headbutt you with her nose. She'll like headbutt you with her nose and try to get your attention, and stuff. Or like, I have so many memories of me like crying because of whatever reasons, and she would come up and she'd like paw my face, like where the tears were running down my face. She would paw at my face. She would cuddle with me all the time at night before bed. She would come in, she would cuddle with me, and she would sleep like right at my side, like curled up at my side, and everything. Or she would cuddle up on top of me and like put her weight on me in a way that was calming to me and would help me fall asleep at night. And I so dearly miss those days, like when she and I would sleep in the same bedroom. Like, she will take naps with me nowadays, but unfortunately, as she's gotten older and as she has found her voice, and found her ability to meow and learned that she can meow and it's safe for her to meow, she has kind of become so vocal that it gets to a point where it's hard to sleep with her in the room. When she was a kitten, when we first got her, she wasn't quite a kitten. She was older than she was a little older than a year old when we adopted her. But when she was a kitten, she was very quiet. She wasn't very vocal. She didn't meow very much. But now, oh my lord, is this cat like one of the most talkative cats I have ever met. And I know that Deborah, I think. Yeah. Deborah, you could probably say in the comments and probably vouch for this that she meows up a storm. She will have a full-on conversation with you if she gets to a point where she's comfortable with you. She has done it to me before where I will talk to her and she'll meow at me and she'll meow and she'll meow and she'll meow. And it's like, I have worked so very hard with this cat. I have taught her how to play, because when we first got her, she was afraid to even play with toys. Like, I had to teach her how to play with toys and that it was safe to play with toys. She was actually supposed to be euthanized before we adopted her. So she has been through a lot. So the fact that she likes small spaces, the fact that you guys see her occasionally in bathrooms or in that space, in those kind of spaces, is usually because she has chosen those spaces for herself. It is not something that we have like forced on her or anything. And everything I have to, because of my chronic health issues, because of my allergies, because of a lot of the issues that I deal with now that I didn't really have the severity of some of my issues now that weren't the case when we first adopted her. Unfortunately, I cannot sleep with her anymore in bed with me, even though I would absolutely love for that to be the case. I so dearly miss those Safu cuddles, which is why I occasionally will let her nap with me. because I still love having her near me, and her and I spend so many hours of the day together cuddling, and I will just sometimes even just come up here into my room when she's in here, and I will literally sit on my bed and stuff, watch TV, so she just can come walk on me and cuddle me and stuff and meow at me, and like, it is my favorite thing. Or when she comes and she starts playing and she bats around her little toys and stuff, or when she brings me her little mousy toys because she wants me to play with her. Like, that was not something that her and I used, that was not something she did before when we first adopted her. I taught her how to play. I taught her all of that stuff. So her and I have a extremely special bond. She is my baby. She is my everything. I love her to pieces. Literally, I would do anything for this cat. I do wish that she wouldn't hide so much in, like, the bathroom downstairs. That's one of the things that I wish she didn't do, and I wish that there was a way for us to be able to have her not feel like, to have her actually come out of the rooms a little more often, because we keep the doors open, like I said, but generally she does prefer to kind of be in those small spaces on her own. It's just kind of her preference, and I think a big part of that comes from the fact that small spaces kind of give her security. They give her a sense of security, even in a house where she is safe, she is loved. She absolutely loves my husband, and stuff, and she is very well taken care of. She has toys everywhere throughout the house. We have boxes and cat toys and all sorts of different little things everywhere. She gets food whenever she needs it. She gets fed usually twice a day, but she also gets treats on occasion. We'll give her, like, the BFF food on occasion and stuff like that as a little treat, and stuff. So she is very well taken care of. It's just she has chosen some of the spaces that she likes, like the closets, like the bathrooms, like all of that. She has chosen those spaces, and we accommodate to make sure that in those spaces she has what she needs, that she has those toys, that she has the litter boxes, that she has her own little kitty bed, that she has a little blankie, that she has all of that. I mean, I have the bathroom downstairs basically set up for her. It is kind of like her little mini room. She has two litter boxes in there. She has several toys in there. She even has a box, like an actual, like, one of those, like, cardboard boxes. She has one of those in there, and I put a little blanket in there for her. She has her water fountain that's plugged in. She has wet food and dry food accessible to her. She has a little toy that I actually hung so she could play with the little toy. She has everything she needs down there. And then on top of that, she has my bedroom, and my bedroom is full of things, and she buries herself within my stuffies. She buries herself again, and she has toys up here too, and she has a cat scratching post here, and the window and stuff is always open and accessible to her, so she can look outside, right? She doesn't actually go outside, but she can look outside and get fresh sun. She can get the sun so she can sunbathe. She loves to sunbathe. Oh boy, when it is sunny out, she will literally sit on that scratch post for hours and just nap. It is the cutest thing when I see her napping. Oh boy. And she has her own little blankets up here, like her own little blankets. She has her own little stuffy that I've given her and stuff like that. So she has everything. She is literally spoiled, as are all of our cats. But Sapphire is well taken care of. I know that there has been in the past, which I have taken down those videos, but there have been videos of me showing Sapphire in the bathroom downstairs when I take her to bed at night, or when I before I bring her up to my room and stuff, because I occasionally will have to bring her up here because she would spend all day down there. She very much is very comfortable in that space. So she will, like, choose to be down there. It is not forced on her. She is not forced. The only time we close the door downstairs to that bathroom is when I am sleeping, so that I can get the rest, so that I can be the best I can be for her. Because otherwise I get irritated. I don't get sleep. I'm sleep deprived. I'm more easily triggered by things when I'm sleep deprived, and her meows can be fairly loud, so they can be quite frustrating sometimes. But I never get mad at her, I never yell at her, I never raise my voice, I don't put my hands on her. The only reason I touch Sapphire is to pet her, is to love on her, is to trim her claws, because I do trim the cat's claws on a regular basis. I brush her. I do all of those things for her. She is literally my baby. She is literally one of the most loved cats and stuff like that. And I have made sure that, considering where she came from, considering that she came from an abusive environment, she came from an environment where she was once adopted. Before us, she was adopted by a family that then brought her back after 2 weeks and stuff like that. And so she has been through a lot in that short period of time before we had her. But in the last 10 years that we have had her, she has literally been the most spoiled cat. I made sure of the fact that she gets everything. And you guys don't see it because I don't generally show her. Like, I don't show my cats on video very much. But she will on occasion, like, sit in the middle of my floor, just sprawled out, like she owns the place. Because, I mean, she kind of does, right? She's a cat. They own us, basically. They own the house. They own the place. So, she is well taken care of. So, if you guys see her in videos, and she is in the bathrooms, and she is in the small spaces, know that it is her choice. Know that she is not being forced into being in those rooms. And every single bathroom and stuff that she is in have night lights. So she has night lights in there. I do not keep her in total darkness in those rooms. In here, I have the ceiling lights that you guys see and stuff. She always has a little light on. Even if it's nighttime, she always has a little night light on. I make sure that she is not in complete darkness. I make sure she has fresh water all the time. I make sure that the filters to the water fountains are always clean. Her litter boxes are always taken care of. She has plenty of toys and plenty of accessibility to playtime. She is very well fed and very well taken care of. So if you guys see her in videos, or any of my cats in videos, know that they are being taken care of and we are doing what is right for them. And yes, some of our cats need to be separated. Yes, some of our cats need to be in their own rooms at different points throughout the day. But they all get equal attention. They all get the same foods and stuff. The ones that need special diets, like Snickers, get the special diet. They all get toys. They all get fresh water. They all get everything that they could need. So, anyway, that is the story on Safu. That is the story on the little birdie. That is the update for today, and everything like that. And I know I'm fidgeting with a fork, whatever, but that is the update on Sapphire. That is the little story time about Sapphire and where she is. And yes, she is an emotional support animal. I have her down as an emotional support animal because she has helped me just as much as I have helped her. My mental health and my ability to cope with things is so much better since I've had her. So, she is loved. So, anyway, I love you guys so very much. I appreciate each and every one of you that shows the care and the concern for the cats and everything. But know that we are doing what we need to be doing with our cats, for our cats, and making sure our cats are as well taken care of as they can be. And we have consulted with the vets with everything that we do for these babies. So, anyway, I love you guys so very much. Sapphire loves you guys so very much. I may show her in the next video. Maybe tomorrow when I film another video. Maybe she will actually want to participate. But anyway, I love you guys so very much. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And remember, as always, if you're going through it, you'll get through it. And remember who you are. I love you guys so much. Bye.